All right, hi everybody. So I posted a Larry McKenna solo that he had written out for me on I'll Remember April, kind of just highlighting his teaching method. He wrote out this, it's basically jazz etudes every week for me for a while in the beginning stages to just show me language. And I played that, put that up on YouTube and you can see it. But what I wanted to do was talk about kind of what now my response to that was when I was learning and what some ideas could be for you. Because I know that etude books, solo transcription books, I mean, they are so plentiful. And I have a bunch of them. And I've played through a bunch of solos like that. And I never really, playing through the whole solo never really did all that much for me. Although Larry's solos did a lot. So let me explain. When I would play Larry solos for my lessons, at least, I think that one of his main points was that you would hear the tune and hear the appropriate lines over the whole tune. So I would play those solos a bunch. And like I said, I put this solo up for I'll Remember April, and there's such beautiful stuff in the solo. I wanted to bring out a couple of things. But what my response would be when I was in college is I wouldn't take the whole solo and put it in all 12 keys, although that would have been beneficial, certainly. What I did was I extrapolated certain licks or lines that I really liked. And so today I want to take out two lines, one of which I'm taking out this one line from this solo that Larry wrote for me on I'll Remember April. I'm taking out this one line because Walker Whitehouse asked a question when I did the James Bond thing a couple days ago, asked about, could I also use over a minor chord, major 7, flat 7, 6. So I took out one line because Larry actually uses that sound, and I'll explain. And Walker Whitehouse's question was, what about using thirds within that to create some counterpoint? So I think I understand what that question was, so I'm going to talk about that. And then there's another line here. But I want to show you what I would do is I would take these lines out of these solos. I would number them based off of the chord, and then I would put them in all 12 keys. But then I would apply them to other tunes. So let's do a little bit of that today. So let's look at this first line that is a great line. These are basically cliche type lines that Larry wrote. And he wrote them this way so that I would hear the appropriate kind of voice leading, hear the right notes, hear some language. So here you go. Over A minor to D7. And I'm going to just use this right now. I'm not going to play tenor yet. So this is concert pitch. Here's the line. Now, what Walker Whitehouse was asking about was, like I said, 7 to flat 7 to 6. So you're noticing here is my 7. That's really like a raised 7th, because in an A minor, it would be a flat 7. But here's this voice leading. G sharp, now down to flat 7. So this would be 7, this would be flat 7, and then here would be 6. Now, what am I taking those numbers from? I'm taking them from A. If A is 1, as I count up the scale, 7 is G sharp, flat 7 is G, 6 is F sharp. By the way, that's a F sharp, sorry. D7 always has it's got an F sharp in it. So if I was looking at this line and I wrote numbers down, this would be 1, 5, flat 3, 7, 5, flat 3, flat 7, 1, 6. Okay, so I would take that pattern, using those numbers, I would put that in every key. So here it is in this key, if I'm reading it for tenor. Walker Whitehouse had asked about adding thirds and, yes, arpeggiating. Larry loved to use this sound. So if I put it in another key, let's just say I'm going to do it in G minor. So I would start on the 1. Let's go to C minor. And I would take it through all the keys. Sorry. Okay, so you get the idea. And I would go through all the keys there. And then I would put that specific sound into a tune where I knew that I had minor sounds. So let's think, for example, what if I used the tune Blue Bossa and use this sound? So Blue Bossa, that would be like, for tenor, D minor. G minor. 2/5. Then F minor 7 to B flat to E flat major. So let me see if I can use this sound here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So there you go. Now, the next thing I would do, obviously it works. It sounds very wooden though. I mean, I'm forcing a pattern in that I know works. The other thing you can do though is thinking about, all right, well, I really like this sound, this descending, or if I'm doing this on the board, I really like that descending sound over minors. So what if I turn the pattern around? This is where I would start to manipulate stuff. Like, this wasn't the only pattern that Larry meant, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, all I'm doing is arpeggiating. Again, getting to Walker Whitehouse's point. Yes, adding thirds, all that stuff. So, you know, I'm using that sound. And you find this a lot in music. Just that sound. 1 to 7 to flat 7 to 6. Right? So now I'm taking all of this information based off of this one line that Larry wrote out for me in I'll Remember April. I mean, again, think about the genius of Larry McKenna, right? Just this little cliche line. And I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth between a bunch of different keys right now. But this. But that sound, that one little cliche line, used so many places. So, you know, I would sit and try to put it on the piano. And then I thought to myself, oh, wow, what about this sound? I mean, I'd heard that before. All that is just this idea of the minor triad with this descending line. So it's going from 1 minor to 1 minor with a major 7 to a minor 7 to a minor 6. You know, standard sound. Again, getting that all from that solo from Larry. All right, So that's one idea that I wanted to bring out. And now here's the other. This line down here, Larry used also in a 2/5. So this is like the beginning of the bridge for I'll Remember April. Woo, man. All right, so anyway, Larry, what a genius. But this line right here, this right here is so incredibly beautiful, and this is all part of this a huge idea that Larry teaches in jazz minors, which I'll explain in just a second here. But this, easy enough. If I'm taking the notes from that minor chord, I'm looking at 5, flat 3, 2, 1, 4, flat 3. I could just take that pattern through all keys. Really beneficial if I know that pattern, because that's language right there, just that one pattern. Now this is so unique, but it's not really. So like Larry's extending here, so I have the numbers based off of the F7, but really this is more of an extension of the C minor. Right, so this is more like 5, flat 7, 9, but I'll put it for the F7. 2, 4, 6, sharp 5, sharp 9, flat 9, and then 5. So this right here, this should elicit alarm bells for any student of Larry, because now I know what he's doing here. Larry's going to imply a sharp 9, flat 9, right? Sharp 5, I probably should have done it the other way. Sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 9. This is basically the altered sound. And this is where Larry uses F sharp, jazz minor, or melodic minor, ascending. So what do I mean? So here's my F7. But Larry now is implying this. So when he plays C sharp to G sharp to F sharp and then resolves it to F on the B flat chord, what he's doing is he's basically implying this sound. Implying the altered sound, but for him that was just a jazz minor sound. So okay, so now this one, and admittedly I have not taken this through every key, but this one would be a little bit more difficult because of the extensions, being able to hear the extensions. So I probably would hit the chord on the piano, or at least the bass note. And I would take that through all 12 keys. And then I would try to find a spot to use that beautiful line. I would try to take it into another standard. All right, so this is kind of how I would manipulate some Larry information, but this is worthy of, wow, like a whole lot of lessons here, because there's so much in this. And by the way, Larry's rhythm in writing these things out, and he never erased. He never erased. These are all like, you know, when you look at his solo here, there's no eraser marks. No eraser marks. And actually, here's the original. It's a little bit yellowed, the paper. There are no eraser marks. That was all original. And he just wrote it down. And in that solo, he used a diminished scale, a whole tone scale. He used this descending thing, just, you know, unbelievable. He used this altered sound over some dominant chords that he implied just so I got the information. Amazing solo. Like this solo, if you check it out, go listen to it. I'll remember April, but then look at it. If you want to stop, just look at it and look and see at the beautiful, look at the beautiful construction that Larry used. Like his harmonic construction is really incredible. And it's worthy of years of study just to master this language, because as I told you before about Larry, he never played a wrong note. And he didn't write a wrong note. He just wrote beautiful notes. And this thing right here, they are some beautiful notes. Yeah, Larry McKenna and his genius. So that's kind of what I would do with this Larry solo. And I'll pull some more stuff out of it. And I have more Larry material as well. And what I'm trying to do, and I don't really know how to do this yet, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how I can put some PDFs, attach some PDFs of these solos, because, you know, I want as many people to have this information about Larry as possible, because he really was an incredible, just a genius. And for me, the stuff made sense. So maybe it'll make sense for you. All right. Hope this helps.